it back, bowled the leg cutter, he intimidated the batsman, and he got you out. And to me, had the hallmarks of what bowling was all about. And I often comforted myself, particularly when I was finding things a little bit difficult, when the ball was old and the pitch was flat and the batsman had 100 and things were going against you. You'd say to yourself, what would Lillee do in this situation? And quite clearly, he would never give up. He'd still compete, and he'd still make life difficult for the batsman. And all of a sudden, the batsman has a go at you and he miscues one, he gets caught at cover, so he's out. A new batsman comes in, got to be vulnerable, doesn't he? First ball hit on the pad, so he might have none for 90 and all of a sudden 2 for 91 and 5 for 120. Might be a good performance in the context of the match. So that thought often went through my mind when conditions were tough, that Lillee would keep going and I had to do something similar to survive.
Now, the West Indies came out to New Zealand and played a series in 1979-80, and it possibly could be said it wasn't a series played in the best of temper, but certainly it was a memorable one for New Zealand because you beat them.
We did. In fact, I've called it the sour summer, because the West Indians had performed remarkably well in Australia. I think they'd won the Test series there, probably their first ever Test series win, I think, in Australian soil, and they won the one-day series. So they came to New Zealand with a great deal of confidence, and probably didn't really want to come to New Zealand after being successful in Australia. And they probably thought there would be easy pickings anyway. And the tour already started with a one-day match at Christchurch, and we only had to get 206 to win that particular match. And we were in trouble at 80 for 5, and some of the crowd started to walk out of the ground, thinking it was all over. Then all of a sudden Warren Lees turned the game round a bit. I got 40-odd reasonably quickly, and the West Indian fielding and bowling deteriorated. They were misfielding, their returns to the keeper were poor, and you know, they were applauding themselves, doing all sorts of things, and the game changed and we won it. We won that one-day international, and that gave us a tremendous amount of confidence when we went down to Dunedin to play the first Test match, and really we performed remarkably well there. And we won the match only by 1 wicket. We only needed 104 to win, and we scraped in, having lost 9 wickets.
Here we go with HADLEE. Oh, he's gone. He's got under it, and Cairns is running back, and he's caught it. What a sensational opening. Richard HADLEE into Lawrence Rowe. Hits him on the pad. There's a loud shout, and he's out. He's given out LBW by umpire Fred Goodall. Arm raised high.
HADLEE to Calichuran. Well, it had to happen.
Partnership now with 66. A good shout for LBW, and he's given him out. Fred Goodall. Finger raised. Clive Lloyd got across too far then. And Richard HADLEE taking another wicket. HADLEE, 2 holding. Oh, it's gone through him. There's an LBW field, and he's out. He's moved after it's hit him, but it looked a good shot from here.
HADLEE to Greenwich. That looks good. Oh, good blow. Good blow. Greenwich, LBW to HADLEE for 3. The West Indies are 4 for 1. HADLEE to Rowe. He's out. He's got him. Rowe, LBW to HADLEE for 12. The West Indies are 21 for the loss of 2 wickets for Richard HADLEE, his 6th LBW in the match, all from that end.
Oh, this is kept low, and it's very low indeed. He's given him out, LBW.
HADLEE to Parry. Short, it's up in the air. Wait for this. He's got it. Caught mould. There's the Test record for Richard HADLEE. 117 wickets in Test cricket.
He's just gone past Richard Collins, who's on 116.
188 for 7. HADLEE to Garner. Bowling! What an amazing cricketer Richard HADLEE is.
The problem the West Indians found was that in Australia, where the ball bounces a bit more, they had a different sort of technique. They probably played more off the back foot, so they could hit the ball. Whereas in New Zealand, if they played off the back foot with the ball keeping low and seaming a bit, they suffered for LBWs. And I picked up 11 wickets in the first test there, and there were 7 LBWs, which I think was a world record. But that's just the way it was at the time. Technically, they were inefficient in that particular test match. But the whole series was a bitter one. There was all sorts of controversy and incident. They were kicking out of the stumps. Michael Holding, unfortunately, had a good swipe at the stumps, and Colin Croft barged the umpire, of course, Fred Goodall, in the second test match. They criticised the umpiring for general decisions, and in fairness to the West Indians, decisions I think did go against them without question. But as professional cricketers and professional sports people, you have an obligation to the game of cricket, and really they showed quite a lot of dissent, which was a little bit disappointing. But we won the series, we won it 1-0. And that was great for New Zealand cricket because we'd competed with and against the best, and that was the turning point as far as our new era in New Zealand and world cricket was concerned, because we'd beaten the world champions, the confidence was there, and we knew that anywhere and everywhere we went we were going to be a respected nation, and really it was the start of our credibility and respect. Picked up a few runs as well, got my first 100 in Test cricket in the second Test match there, but it was very much a hollow 100. Whilst it goes in the record books as looking impressive, it turned out to be a very easy 100.
That's 999 runs in Test cricket for Richard Hadley. Roberts to Hadley. Short. A wee push away, through points. That's going to be 4 runs. Finally hits. Richard Hadley is 91. His highest Test score. He has now made 1,003 runs in Test cricket. Richard Hadley becomes the first New Zealander to achieve the double of 1,000 runs and 100 wickets in Tests. This is his 27th game for New Zealand in Test matches. Roberts to Hadley. Short, pulled away off his face. That's a 6 into the number 4 stand. Richard Hadley is 98. New Zealand are 441 for 8 wickets. Kalachurran to Hadley. Short, there it is. 4 runs to the backward point boundary. Richard Hadley, 103. New Zealand, 446 for 8 wickets. Richard Hadley, born and bred in Christchurch, receiving the good wishes of his hometown crowd. Hadley 103, his first Test century. New Zealand 446 for 8 wickets.
And then I gave it away with Kalachurran bowling at the time with the reverse sweep and got bowled.
Well, that was a great win against the West Indies. Always nice to knock off the world champions. But you had another appointment now. You'd been across to England in 1978, and you were no great shakes over there at that stage. Now, in 1983, you've got 4 Test matches and the chance of glory. But it didn't quite turn out like that.
No, it didn't. We lost